process that will culminate with the elections, presidential election on 4th of December, and he made His Excellency the President. But the mission is also geared towards meeting all stakeholders, national stakeholders in the context of these elections, and we are encouraged, as far as the United Nations is concerned, and the international partners as well, to see that the process is going on smoothly. The registration exercise has been operated very smoothly with 57% of women registered, 58% of youth. So he's confident that the process will be smooth. And in this context, he came to encourage this process to take place, and we expect that the 4th November, 12th December's election will be a positive one.
In March this year, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres announced the appointment of Anadif Katir Mohamed Saleh of Chad as his special representative and head of United Nations Office for West Africa and the Sahel. Mr. Saleh succeeded Mohamed Ibn Chambers of Ghana, who ended his assignment on 7 April 2021 after serving for 6 years. Before his latest appointment, Saleh, a former Chadian foreign minister between 1997 and 2003, served as special representative of the Secretary General for Mali and head of United Nations Multidimensional Integrated Stabilization Mission in Mali since 2015. Mr. Saleh has extensive national and international experience, having taken part in several peace processes in Africa, including in Niger, the Central African Republic, and Sudan. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cissé.
And we'll still stay with Aliou Cissé as President Adama Barrow on Wednesday presented 2 new buses to the Council of the University of the Gambia Students' Union during a brief ceremony at the State House in Banjul. Handing over the keys to the student representatives, President Barrow called on them to maintain peace and stability for the country's development.
This is in fulfillment of an earlier promise President Barrow made to the students at the country's highest learning institution, the University of the Gambia. While handing over the buses, President Barrow reminded the students of the need to promote and maintain peace and unity for the progress and development of the country. The 2 new buses are expected to address some of the transport challenges faced by students. The Gambian leader went further to encourage the UTG students to remain focused on their education to better prepare themselves as future leaders. He assured them of his government's commitment to education as a top priority. Highlighting his confidence in the country's youth, President Barrow is hopeful that the next president after him will come from among the young.
We are achieving things that have never happened in this country. So I think that should convince everybody that we should be on board, we should be part of the boss to make sure we move this country forward.
Acting Vice Chancellor Professor Pierre Gomez explains how the new buses will be of use to the students in a move to make the university learning more conducive.
Today here we are, government has responded, and to make sure that students are given the opportunity to have buses that will help them shuttle from campus to campus and also to other parts of the country for extracurricular activities and other academic matters.
On behalf of the students of the UTG, Usman Jasseh, President of UTG Students' Union, expressed gratitude and appreciation to President Barrow for providing the buses following a request by students. According to Jasseh, the President's response is a clear manifestation of his commitment to the development of the UTG.
We are grateful. You have always been supportive to the University of the Gambia students, especially the Students' Union. This is not the first time that you have demonstrated your Samaritan commitment to addressing problems that we are facing in the University of the Gambia. If you could recall some months ago, we also reached out to you for assistance on the occasion of our Students' Week. You responded very positively, financially, logistically, fueling and other food items. So your support for students of the University of the Gambia has always been obvious, and that was why we had no doubt in our mind at the time when we were making this request, because we were certain that President Barrow is someone who loves this country and is very much committed to supporting education and promoting the development agenda of the people of this country.
Also present at the ceremony was Badara Diouf, the Gambia's Minister for Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology. In a different engagement, President Barrow will on Saturday preside over the official inauguration of the completed major roads and bridges in the Upper River region, in fulfillment of one of his 2016 campaign promises to Gambians. The foundation stone for the construction of the 51-kilometer Basse Fatoto Koina road and Basse and Fatoro bridges in the Upper River region was laid in December 2018. This massive $80 million project, funded by the government of the People's Republic of China, followed the signing of cooperation agreements during President Barrow's visit to Beijing in December 2017. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
Meanwhile, the Medical Research Council, through its partners, has donated CCTV cameras and electronic medical record system and consumables worth over $5 million for the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital, Bakau Center. Mohamed Lamin Choi tells us more.
The Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital's Bakau Center, formerly known as Nemban Clinic, and the country's National COVID-19 Case Management Center, is being upgraded with electronic and medical items thanks to the MRC Gambia in partnership with the Gambia and Spanish Red Cross societies and funded through the EU's COVID-19 initiative in the Gambia. The items donated are PPEs, medical consumables, CCTV cameras, and electronic medical record system. Dr. Abubakar Jany, the Gambia's head of COVID-19 case management, outlines how valuable the donated items will be to healthcare service delivery in the EFSTH Bakau Center.
We have, in the past, never thought that there would be need for you to put cameras to look after patients until this deadly disease came to being. Then we got to realize that, in fact, monitoring patients remotely would become so important. And to a point, we have to put cameras in patients' wards and be sitting out to look after them. If they need be, that reduce your contact hours with them. And this help couldn't have come better time than this.
The EFSTH Bakau Center, a formerly defunct private clinic called Nemban Healthcare Center, was transformed into a modern health facility through public-private partnerships and established as the primary COVID-19 treatment center, which is equipped to serve as a branch of EFSTH, the country's main referral hospital. The hospital's chief medical director, Professor Nyan, sees the donation as an opportunity to boost the operational capacity of this health facility.
Therein comes also the responsibility for ensuring files are completed, and that there is an opportunity there for better data management of individual patients and, of course, the collective effort.
The Deputy Director of Health Services, Dr. Mamadou T. Nyasi, thanks the MRC and partners for their regular and continuing support to the Ministry of Health and the Gambia government to boost health service delivery. The Chief Operating Officer of MRC Gambia, Dr. Davis Nwankama, looks forward to stronger cooperation with the Ministry of Health to respond to the healthcare needs of the population.
The capacity to remotely monitor your patient and respond, because contagious diseases are going to spread more and more, would be important. So we expect that this relationship will be built upon, and our researchers would be interested to take forward and be able to improve upon what has been done.
The Secretary General of the Gambia Red Cross Society, Alassane Senghor, speaks of the crucial role the Gambia Red Cross Society plays in partnership with the Ministry of Health and the need to further consolidate efforts for better service to the country.
What is important today as institutions is to try and learn from the COVID response and continue to consolidate, but at the same time look at the future in terms of how do we strengthen the health infrastructure.
The COVID-19 pandemic, given the Gambia's weak health system, has been described by some as a blessing in disguise. It has mobilized efforts by government and its partners for a transformation agenda on a massive scale to respond to people's demand for improved health care. Mohamed Lamin Choi, QTV News.
Well, we'll now go for a short commercial break, but the news continues when we return. Don't go away.
Step into the future of television with sleek and slim design Samsung Smart TVs, ranging in size from 32 to 75 inches, and in different technology: Smart LED, Crystal UHD, Ultra High Definition, and QLED Quantum Dot LED. Get new ways of interacting with your TV as our TVs offer an unparalleled vision adventure from the comfort of your living room. Ultra viewing angle, powerful picture quality, web browser, gallery, EarthNet LAN, wireless LAN built-in, Bluetooth, screen mirroring technology, mobile on TV mirroring, built-in voice assistance, Wi-Fi direct. Not only that, our TVs are backed with 12 months warranty, and we are currently on a promotion. Contact us on 333-3217.
Looking for the fastest and easiest way to receive money transfers from abroad? Well, QMoney and Ria just made it happen. Now you can receive international money transfer from Ria directly into your QMoney account with no additional cost. Once you receive an SMS alert about your transfer, walk into any QMoney agent across the country to receive your payment for free, or use the money immediately to buy credit, QPower, and other QMoney services. It's fast, safe, and convenient. For more info, call customer care on 133. QMoney, Sinu Calpe. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back from the short commercial break. Be reminded you're following QTV News, coming to you live from our studios along Kairaba Avenue, and I am Ansmane Soenyasi. Now, the Child Labour Unit of the Department of Labour, through the support from UNICEF, organized a regional forum on child labour. The forum brought together stakeholders in the West Coast region to seek solutions and to prevent and elevate the worst forms of child labour. Ajibintu Drama reports.
Child labour has been a long-standing problem which see children being subjected to the worst forms of child labor, including commercial sexual exploitation, human trafficking, and forced begging. About 63% of Gambians are under 25 years of age, and data shows 95% of child laborers work in the agricultural sector, according to a report by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Affairs due to poverty. It is common to see children under the age of 14 in the streets, hawking, begging, or being a driver's apprentice in the capital city, Banjul. Karamoke Keta, a project coordinator with the Institute for Social Reformation and Action, says he hopes that the issue of child labor will be fully addressed after the review of the Children's Act and the Labor Act.
Well, I think a lot of measures need to be in place. For example, some of the children probably would not be able to meet basic needs. So, of course, the poverty dimension, as I said, has to be addressed. And one way of addressing that is, for example, ensure that adequate provisions are made so that children would be able to go to school at minimum cost, because it's not possible that we have education zero or with no cost.
Ibrahim Adabo, communications officer with the Child Protection Alliance, explains that there are well-intended laws and policies in the country which are not being implemented. He adds that there are instances where child abuse cases are compromised and that not enough is done to protect children.
We need to have family strengthening programs that will help families support the development of their children. We also know from family we move to community level, and we have to have programs within our communities, or we need to have systems within our communities that will empower these children within the communities. And at national level, we need to make sure that we do what is expected, and law enforcement comes and plays a very big role in that aspect.
Discussions were open to seek the views of the gathering on ways to protect the best interests of children.
But I think we have a big key role to play, and we have a long way to go. Because if the social protection systems are not in place, it will be very difficult. Because now when we go and arrest all these children, when you ask the parents, they will tell you they don't have the means. And what they will tell you is it's better for the child to eat than the child to go hungry. The Children's Act is also saying best interest of the child.
And the law is there to protect the children. Then those people in charge of the law to protect the children are not making use of the law. Nobody talks about them. Nobody thinks about them. We are just talking about the ones we see in the streets, okay. But this one I'm talking about, they are invisible, but they are there, suffering.
According to the Bureau of International Labour Affairs in 2020, the Gambia made minimal advancement in efforts to tackle or eliminate the worst forms of child labour. The National Agency Against Trafficking in Persons developed a national referral mechanism for victims of human trafficking, and the Gambia Tourism Authority for the Protection of Children trains hotel staff on the commercial sexual exploitation of children. However, despite these initiatives to address child labour, only minimal advancement have been made. It is hoped that this forum and ones like it can add to efforts to one day eliminate child labour. Ajibintu Drame, QTV News.
And now on to business news in a moment. Now, with support from the International Trade Center and the Department of Livestock, Empire Poultry Farm on Thursday received over 25,000 hatching eggs from the Youth Empowerment Project. The move is aimed at complementing national food self-sufficiency. More in this report. In their drive to transform the poultry industry and increase the production capacity of poultry farms such as Empire, the EU-funded Youth Empowerment Project Agricultural Support Component, in partnership with the International Trade Center and the Department of Livestock Services, delivered 25,920 eggs to the Empire Poultry Farm Management for incubation and hatching at what is the country's leading poultry production establishment. Handing over the eggs, Modu Ture, Technical Advisor and Monitoring and Evaluation Officer at the International Trade Center, and Jos Gerrit, a senior poultry expert from Holland, respectively, underscored the significance of this partnership and further stressed the need to strengthen the capacities of young poultry farmers in the Gambia. They also thanked Empire for agreeing to partner with them, describing them as commendable partners.
Therefore, they will continue to supply day-old chicks to this country as long as possible. So it means, therefore, and Empire also has, as part of their contribution, transported the eggs from the airport to their warehouse here. Also, they will incubate them. So they are not getting extra money for the incubation, for the transport, and for all the services they will render to the final point in which they will sell the day-old chicks to the general public.
I think for this, farmers, please get together, associate, and make a block. We have been, with our experts, helping you to start this Young Farmers Association, the other cooperative, but this you have to do this. If not, you cannot survive.
Receiving the eggs, Mamadou Mas Job says Empire welcomes the partnership and will continue to support young poultry farmers in the country. This first consignment, he says, will increase Empire's production capacity by at least 15%, thus helping meet market demand for locally produced poultry.
We promise, like we said, we increase our production by 50% because we are doing 2, we are adding another 1. So every month of this date, we should be buying, we should be putting in a new, this one that is given to us. We are doing what we are doing, but we are going to add this to it as well.
Suleiman Marega is one of many young poultry farmers working with YEP and the ICT. He welcomed the initiative and thanked Empire for their support and partnership.
And it's going to be contributing a lot towards the poultry industry. And us, the young people, will be actually very much grateful as well with regards to this. So it is a very good initiative, and then we really appreciate it as to your thanking support as well from the ITC and then PUMP as well with regards to this particular gesture.
The Empire Poultry Farm is a fully integrated project consisting of a hatchery with the capacity to produce at least 150,000 day-old chicks per month, a slaughter and processing plant with capacity to process 1,500 broilers into just chicken per hour, and a network of independent outgrowers. Answana Sonyasi for KTV News. Well, we will now take a look at international news. In international news, South Africa's anti-apartheid icon Archbishop Desmond Tutu celebrates his 90th birthday today. He was the first black Anglican bishop of Johannesburg and later became Archbishop of Cape Town. He fought apartheid in South Africa along with Nelson Mandela. More in this report by Amar Pijalo.
Tutu was born in 1931 in the mining town of Klerksdorp. He became a teacher, but when South Africa's racist apartheid regime began discriminating against black pupils, Tutu resigns from his post for a career in theology, later becoming Johannesburg's first black bishop. Often referred to as the concern of South Africa, Tutu was a key campaigner against South Africa's previous brutal system of oppression against the country's black majority. After South Africa achieved democracy in 1994, he continued to be an outspoken advocate of reconciliation, justice, and human rights. Although currently in poor health, Tutu is expected to attend a church service on his birthday at St. George's Church in central Cape Town, where as the country's first black Anglican archbishop, he delivered a sermon condemning apartheid. In 2012, Archbishop Desmond Tutu who was awarded $1 million by the Mo Ibrahim Foundation for speaking truth to power. The London-based foundation called the Cleric one of Africa's great voices for justice, freedom, democracy and responsive government. He was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1984 for his campaign of non-violence opposition to South Africa's system of white minority rule. After retiring as the Archbishop in 1996, Tutu was chairman of South Africa's Truth and Reconciliation Commission, which investigated human rights abuses during the apartheid era. He withdrew from public life in 2010 and formed his own foundation, the Desmond and La Tutu Trust. Tutu has been treated for prostate cancer and was hospitalized several times in 2015 and 2016 and underwent a surgical procedure to address recurring infections from the cancer treatment. At the church service on Thursday, his fellow anti-apartheid campaigners are expected to speak. There will also be an online seminar about Tutu's life and values, highlighting the continuing relevance of his work for equality and the need for South Africans to continue Tutu's work for racial equality. The recent racial insult written last month on a portrait on Tutu in Cape Town has raised concerns amongst his admirers, some of whom described the act as hateful and absurd. It is also seen as a sign that the fight against racism is not yet won. On this day, to the man who always seems to be smiling, we say happy 90th birthday Desmond Tutu. Reporting for QTV News, I am Omar P. Jallo.
An African icon whose life is indeed worth celebrating. I'm afraid that is all we have for you in this edition of the news. But before we take a leave of you, here's a recap of our main headlines. The UN Secretary General Special Representative for West Africa and the Sahel called on President Barrow and says he is satisfied and encouraged with the smooth progress of the Gambia's electoral process. President Adama Barrow on Wednesday presented 2 new buses to the Council of the University of the Gambia Students' Union during a brief ceremony at the State House. The Medical Research Council, through its partners, has donated medical record system and consumables worth over $5 million for the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital, Bakau Center. In business news, as part of the drive to support food self-sufficiency, Empire's Poultry Farm on Thursday received over 25,000 hatching eggs from the Youth Empowerment Project. And in international news, anti-apartheid icon Desmond Tutu celebrates his 90th birthday today. Well, that is all we have for you in this edition of news. Do join us at 10 p.m. for another bulletin. Bye for now.